Well, good day to all of our awesome audience. Listen, we're here with a brief training, ladies and gentlemen. And as we always like to do, we like to take a quick mental vacation break before we get into the training. We're actually in Hong Kong. So you're taking a look at the skyline there in Hong Kong. Let's go to work. Let's go to work here, okay? Keep in mind that our objective is to assist you in building a long-term sustainable business. A long-term sustainable business with multiple streams of income, with multiple streams of income across multiple niches so that you ultimately have the financial and the time freedom to hotly pursue the passions of your heart. Okay, so we want to help you build a long-term sustainable business that's got multiple streams of income, multiple niches, so that you've got the financial freedom and the time freedom to really do the things that you believe you've been put on earth to do. And if you haven't discovered that yet, if you haven't figured that out, then, we want you to have the time to figure that out. Okay. All right. Now, so many people are really clueless as it relates to, well, what is their real business? Is their real business the offer that they're promoting, whether it is a network marketing company or whether it is a particular product or service or what have you? No, it's not. Those things are mere extensions of your business. Your true business is comprised of these two most important elements, all right? It's you. It's you. It's you, all right? You can really only control who? You. You can't control what you're promoting unless you own that particular thing that you're promoting. You can't control it. You can't control the decisions that are made behind the scenes, good or bad. All right. But what you can control is you and your following. We did a recent live webinar where we discussed this in detail, that your business is you and your following. Let's talk about the you part of the equation, because this is the most significant part of your business, and yet it's the part of most people's businesses that goes the most neglected. Now, one of my mentors taught me this years ago. He showed on screen. We were on a webinar, and he showed this iceberg, or a picture of an iceberg, and he said that the top of the iceberg He said that the top of the iceberg, represents your conscious thoughts, all right, your conscious thoughts. And the girth that you see beneath the surface represents your subconscious thoughts. And so one of the reasons that people struggle so much in their business is because their subconscious programming is really what makes the decisions for us. So what he said to me is, you're not really making decisions. It's your subconscious that's making decisions, meaning you're not consciously making decisions. It's your subconscious that's making the decisions, good or bad, good or bad. So if you've got bad subconscious input, if you've got negative subconscious input, and we all do in some areas in our lives. For some people, that bad subconscious input could be as it relates to money. And I can tell you that was a big challenge that I had, because, growing up, I had a loving family, loving parents, but the images that I saw, the things that I heard, really had me having a subconscious block to abundance, to financial abundance. When I would go to my worship service, lovely people were just, they're filled with love. Yet the messages that we often heard, or that I often heard growing up, was, in order for me to gain favor of my creator, if you were rich, you probably weren't going to get the favor of the creator. Okay. And of course, I don't want to turn this into a religious platform, because I know we've got very varied beliefs. But that was deep seated. That was deep seated. So it took me a while to be able to break through that. And then growing up in the 80s, I would see programs like Dallas or Dynasty or what have you, where you had these people that were well-to-do, they were wealthy, they were rich, but they almost all had major character flaws. So you had J.R. Ewing, for instance, who was extremely powerful, extremely wealthy, yet he couldn't be faithful to his wife. And so the subconscious programming was, those people that are wealthy, those people that have financial success are filthy rich. Even listen at some of the terminology that we use to talk about people that are financially successful. Filthy rich. Why can't they be fabulously wealthy? Why do they have to be filthy as if they did something wrong? Now, obviously, there are some people that have attained a level of financial success, or what appears to be financial success, that have done some bad things and what have you. But I can tell you, because of this industry, I've met a lot of 6-figure, 7-figure, now even 8-figure producers and income earners. And most of the ones that I have met that have had any type of long-term financial success in this industry, man, they are just fabulous people. They're giving people. They're loving people. And if you take a look at many of the world's most financially successful people, whether it's the Bill Gateses of the world, or whether it's many of the billionaires or what have you, you'll see that many of them are philanthropists. They give. And so one of the things that we've got to do is make sure that we are working on this subconscious programming. In many cases, we've got to deprogram ourselves of negative input, and then we've got to reprogram ourselves with positive input. So the bottom line is, and I know this may not come across as the best looking picture here, it's a little fuzzy, it's how do you see yourself? Are you the pussycat that's getting the good input in, so that your subconscious, ladies and gentlemen, all it takes is input. All right. It just accepts input. If we're getting negative input in, then we're going to be making bad decisions, bad choices. So take a look at some of your choices. And take a look at where you are right now. I'm not just talking about money now. I'm not just talking about your finances. I'm talking about your relationships. I'm talking about how you connect with other people. Are you happy? Are you not happy? Well, all of that is a part of your subconscious programming. And I'm certainly not saying that I'm any better than anybody else. I mean, I still have a lot of bad subconscious programming that I'm having to deprogram myself and reprogram for what I want. All right. And so are you the pussycat that's getting the good subconscious programming so that you feel like your subconscious says, hey, you're the lion? Or are you the lion, inside you're really a lion, but you see yourself as the little pussycat? And so it's so important that you're working on yourself. So many people, they want the hows. How do I drive traffic? How do I get sales? How do I build my network marketing business? How? And the hows are very important, but the whys are even more important than the hows, because if your whys aren't big enough, and that goes to your subconscious programming as well, if your whys aren't big enough, you won't stick around long enough to figure out the hows. Okay, so here's your call to action. Listen, spend some time every day working on your most important asset. And who is that? That's you. Spend some time every day. I would have you to set aside a specific time each day, whether it's 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 45 minutes, an hour. I know you're really busy, but this is so important that you work on you. Things started to change for my business, and it didn't happen overnight. They started to change for my business when I started working on me. I started figuring out that the more value I brought to the marketplace, the more the marketplace was going to reward me with what I was wanting. Whether it was I was wanting more recruits in my business, more sales in my business, more profits in my business. As you become more valuable to the marketplace will reward you. And so one of my mentors, he was making like $36 million a year. He would often say, don't just work in your business. Me cutting this training is working in my business. He said, work on your business. What you don't typically see, that time that I'm spending watching or listening to valuable content to work on me, because as I become a better person, now I can bring more value to the marketplace. The other thing I want you to do, excuse me, I've done something wrong here. Bear with me. Where'd you go? Okay. The other thing I want you to consider doing, Greatly reduce your negative input. Greatly reduce the negatives. All right. And that's hard. That's a challenge, because that means that certain things that you're just kind of used to doing, you may have to distance yourself from. Maybe you're not watching as much of the news, because, you know, let's just be honest with you. The news, they don't make money by sharing positive input. It's all about, you know, murder. It's all about controversy. It's all about what have you. And so I remember when I just basically just tuned out the news, and then people would say, well, but what about those things you need to know about? Well, somebody who's watching that stuff, if there's something I really need to know, especially with social media, if there's something I really need to know, somebody will tell me. All right. And that's just one example. Notice your reactions to certain things. Notice your reactions. You know, if you're starting to get upset, you know, start to take an inventory of that, you know, because that's negative input. That's negative input. If you have people that are around you that are negative, you may have to distance yourself a little bit, love them from afar. And that's hard. That's hard because that goes to some family members. And I'm certainly not telling anybody to disown your children or you know, with your marriage or what have you. But you've got to put some buffers there so that you're not getting so much negative input, because remember, your subconscious, it doesn't know right or wrong. It just knows the input that it's been programmed with, from the media, from our relationships, from your past, so on and so forth. Okay. And then greatly increase your positive input. Now that's something that you can control. And again, let's say you're working a job right now and you're commuting. So maybe instead of listening to talk radio or listening to music or what have you, maybe you're listening to some type of personal development or spiritual development audio or MP3 or what have you. Find that voice or those voices that resonate with you. That, you know, it's not just a motivation thing. It's not just a rah-rah thing, but they really challenge you to be better. They really challenge you to be better. Okay. Now, I know you want to know the hows, and I know you want to know, you know, how do I drive traffic, and how do I get traffic to convert, and how do I get people to join me in my business, and how do I get people to buy from me? How do I make commissions? Listen, we're going to get to all of that, but none of that stuff means anything if you're not working on you, because you won't stick around long enough. You won't stick around long enough if you're not working on you. So daily work on you. Daily work on you. Pay attention to this quick announcement. Well, we trust you enjoyed that training, and thank you for taking time out to watch this very brief announcement. Today's training was actually sponsored in part by Reverse Advertising System. This is an amazing mobile marketing platform, but the system that it actually promotes is absolutely phenomenal. I want you to ask yourself this question. Would you like to generate up to $25 an hour simply doing what you probably already do quite a bit on a daily basis anyway, and that is viewing some type of videos or viewing some type of promotional content? Well, the RAS promotes a system that does just that. If you're not good at marketing just yet and you're looking to generate a few extra hundreds of dollars, maybe even $1,000 a month or more by simply viewing promotional content, then you'll definitely want to get back to the person that sent you today's training and find out more about our reverse advertising system and the underlying system that pays you, listen, up to 25 bucks an hour to start. But we're going to show you how to scale that up to 50 bucks, then 100 bucks, then 250, then $500. And if you mess with us, we're going to show you how to scale that up to a 6 or a 7-figure income. So today's training was sponsored in part by our reverse advertising system. It was also sponsored in part by our funnel blueprint. The funnel blueprint actually works hand in hand with the reverse advertising system. The funnel blueprint is our marketing and training portal. You know, so many people around the globe are looking to make an income in some type of marketing endeavor. But the problem is most people don't know how to market. And the reality is, if you don't know how to market, it doesn't matter what you are marketing. But the reverse of that is true. Once you learn how to market, it doesn't matter what you are marketing. Now, these two systems, reverse advertising system, the funnel blueprint, they all go hand in hand to assist you in developing a long-term sustainable business with multiple streams across multiple niches so that you can ultimately have the financial freedom and the time freedom to hotly pursue the passions of your heart. So we're going to come back in another day, 2 or 3 with another value-added training sponsored by Reverse Advertising System. Remember, get back to the person who referred you to this training. Find out how you could earn up to $25 an hour. That's just to start. We want to scale that to $50, $150, $250, $500 an hour or more, and then ultimately a 6 or a 7-figure income. We'll be back in another day, 2 or 3 with value-added training. Until then, you have an awesome day.